Hey everyone, welcome to the Future AI Show, episode 3. So today we have Satvik with us. Satvik, he runs a very interesting company called Build Fast with AI. Right? That's my personal favorite subject. So I found Satvik on LinkedIn, and actually, I found his website on Google when I was doing some research, and found his profile on LinkedIn, and was like, very much impressed with what he has been doing in AI, and he has been teaching lots of people about building things with AI, right? And so let's talk to Satvik. Hi, Satvik.
Hi,
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. So it's very nice to have you on my show, Satvik. This is the third
Thank you.
episode, and I'm looking forward to kind of knowing about your journey, about your passion towards making people learn AI, build products, applications with AI, right? So how did it all start?
Okay, I'll just give a bit of my background. That will help. So, first of all, I got my education from IIT Delhi. So, I passed out in the year 2019. So, after graduating from IIT Delhi, then I went on to work for many corporate companies, especially banks in AI and ML space. So, I worked there for around 3.5 years in the corporate space. So, which was an enriching experience in its own right. But my primary interest was always in education sector. So while I was still at college, I used to run my own NGO in education sector, where I was heavily involved with teaching. We were working with Delhi government, CBSE, and many other organizations also. So my heart was always into education for very long. So when I used ChatGPT for the first time, so I really felt compelled to get back to education sector. So around November 2022, when ChatGPT got released, and I saw all the possibilities that it can do for education. So that is when I really felt urged to quit my day job and do something in the AI and education. So immediately after quitting the job, I didn't have any clear idea on what to do. So I was just experimenting with a few AI apps, building some simple apps and posting on LinkedIn, Twitter, and other places. So suddenly, a lot of people. So since AI was the hot topic and still is the hot topic, so people have reached out to me to ask how I'm building that. So
Hmm.
there's this interesting story as how Build Fast with AI came out to be. So I did a first session on how to build a chatbot on PDF to around 5, 6 people,
Hmm.
and somehow the word got around. I just created a small community on Meetup and small WhatsApp group, and within the third session, there were around 130 people who attended. So that was the time then I realized, okay, so there is a lot of people who are willing to learn AI. And I'm anyways experimenting with AI day in and day out, given that I wanted to build something. And more importantly, I was passionate about teaching. So I thought, okay, let me just start doing that. So for over last 18 months, we have done more than 150 workshops on different topics of AI. And that is how slowly Build Fast with AI just started with a single session. Then we formed a community. Then we did workshops, then courses, then consulting. I think we'll talk more about that in the future. But yeah, this is how the
That's
journey has
phenomenal.
started.
Yeah, phenomenal. Right. So you're basically from Bangalore?
So I'm currently based out of Bangalore,
Hmm.
but my hometown is Hyderabad. So
Good,
yeah.
good, good. I'm in Hyderabad now. Okay, so good to
Okay.
know. Where did you do your education? School education.
School education, I did it in Hyderabad,
Hmm.
and then the formal IIT education, Narayana Sri Chaitanya education for
Okay,
years there, and then yeah, after that college, I went to IIT in Delhi.
good, 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 good. So, what's your major in IIT?
So I did. both bachelor's and master's in
Hmm.
a subject called mathematics and computing.
Okay.
So which is very close to computer science.
Okay. Good. Good. So when you were studying at IIT, and so what was your vision like? You wanted to go settle in the corporate world, or you wanted to do something different?
To be honest, uh, my mindset and mindset of many people who especially get educated in Hyderabad is that they are in a pressure cooker for 2 years to get to IIT. So their
Hmm.
only goal is to crack the exam and get into IIT. And
Right.
even I had the same goal, so I just wanted to go to IIT, and there was no other goal afterwards.
Okay.
For the first 2, 3 years, at least, I didn't have any goal. I was just like, okay, I'm at this place now, so let me just get through it.
Okay. Okay. Good. So you're saying your life changed after you've been exposed to ChatGPT, right? So what was it like? What was your first prompt? You remember?
First prompt, I remember I was reading a book. I don't exactly remember the name, but it was a book about some complex maths problem
Okay.
uh, called Langland's problem. So I was reading a book on that, and that was around the same time ChatGPT got released. So I just typed a prompt about, "Can you explain me this?" And it
Hmm.
suddenly gave me a very good explanation on that.
Okay.
Uh, so then I started chatting with it. To be honest, for the first week, I didn't exactly like I was very much impressed, but I didn't feel how useful it was in the very first go.
Mhm.
But in the first 2 weeks of using it continuously for different purposes, then as mentioned, I used to work in an NGO where we used to work on a lot of education initiatives. Then everything hit back. Okay, this can be used in many different ways. This technology. That is when I had real eye opener that this is going to change a lot of things.
Right. That's interesting. So, what was your first application about? You said chart with PDF doc, right?
So the first application that I created and I posted it on LinkedIn, which got
Hmm.
sort of viral with around 30,000 impressions. So was a YouTube chatbot. So you could just
YouTube.
upload any YouTube link
Hmm.
and you could get a summary of it. You can ask any custom query to it. So
Okay.
this was that I made in the very first time. So today I think many people are doing it, and it's very easy to do also.
It is.
But
It is.
1.5 year back it was slightly difficult and it was very nuanced. So when I posted this, so it was like okay,
Okay.
people thought they have to watch the entire 1 hour video. Now they can get a summary. Probably people will convert this our podcast into a YouTube transcript, or maybe they have a lot of Chrome
Yeah.
extensions. They
In
might do
fact, I
that
would
also.
also do that. So to summarize. So, what stack did you use in those days?
So yeah, so Stack primarily I did everything in Python. So I basically come from data science background. So I didn't have any web development experience till that point.
Hmm.
So I did everything in Python, and there is this framework called Streamlit that I still
Yes.
use to today, which allows you to deploy apps with 100% Python.
Yes.
So that's I think that's the framework that helped me build some confidence because let's say Python developer or someone who doesn't know a lot of development experience,
Right.
being able to build an app and share it with other people is a sense of confidence that you can build.
Yeah.
So
It gives
uh,
you that high, right? Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Good.
even that was very simple to make. And when I actually posted it, then seeing hundreds of people reply
Hmm.
and message back on that, it gave me a sense of validation. Okay, that so there is this thought process that we always tend to have कि मैं कर दिया तो शायद कोई भी कर लेगा. So
Hmm.
that's the first time I felt कि okay, just because it's easy to do doesn't mean that everyone is going to do. So it takes a lot of
Hmm.
effort and learning sense to do. So yeah,
Yes.
that part has also something that I have inculcated over many months now.
Very good. Very good. So I admire that approach. Okay. So what's your next application once we have seen that going viral?
So my at that time, like I quit my job, so there is no build fast with at that point. So I was anyways exploring, so I wanted some sort. So the thing is, I didn't have a job, so I did. There was no pressure for me to wake up in the morning or maybe sit in front of computer and learn and do things. So I
Right.
had a goal that every 2 days I'll post one application.
Okay.
Uh, so I think for over uh, let's say 5 6 months, I posted an app every other day.
Okay.
Every 2 3 days, I posted one app, anywhere ranging between a simple YouTube chatbot to resume analyzer to a
Mm-hmm.
app PDF chatbots. So I
Okay.
tried to build around 50 60 ideas during that time. Posted the app, posted the code, everything was open source.
Okay. So these are all on Streamlit, or did you use any other frameworks?
Yeah, so these were all on Streamlit, and 4 5 months into developing apps with Streamlit, I felt that I hit a wall
Mm.
because Streamlit is again a simple POC framework, so you can't build any proper applications that you can serve to many users, and
Right.
there is not a lot of flexibility in terms of how you can design things in that. So there are standard templates there.
Yeah.
So after developing many applications, I felt that I hit a wall there in terms of showcasing my ideas through that framework. So that is when I learned web development the first time. So I actually choose the framework which is called Next.js.
Mm-hmm.
So I went around watching some tutorials and start building a few applications. At the same time, I also hired few interns who were very good at Next.js. So they
Okay.
were also developing applications with me, and I was also learning a lot from them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like 5 6 months into building these AI apps, I started learning web development and started developing full stack AI apps.
Wow. Wonderful. So what kind of backends that you have been using?
So Next.js, it's a full stack framework. So you will get all the functionalities within that. So for APIs and all, we use OpenAI APIs through Vercel SDK.
Mm.
Uh, and for the front end, Tailwind CSS, Shad and UI.
Okay.
And this is the standard template that we use. And one thing that has helped also that whenever we are hiring new developers in our team, we try to hire only on one or two frameworks. So we don't hire a team where one person is doing Next, one person is doing Remix, someone is doing some other framework. So
Mm.
even with any projects that we do, there is this thing. If you want a Python app, we do it in Python Fast API. If you
Okay.
want a full stack, we do it in Next.js. So that way, uh, streamlining operations is also very easy since we only have to deal with a couple of frameworks at any given time.
Okay. So what's your database choice?
Database, I really love Supabase.
Okay.
Supabase is something, it has a very generous free tier and it's
Right.
very easy to integrate. So I'm someone with no traditional development background. So I really hate using AWS because like there are too many things going on there. You don't understand anything there.
Right.
So like Supabase is like very easy to set up just to create like it's as easy as creating an Excel sheet. Just get
Right.
the URL and you can start deploying. And it's a open source also, so it works perfectly for us.
Okay. So do you see any uh, drastic changes in the development area in the recent, times because of AI, right?
So I think this has to be one of the most drastic changes in how people write software.
Mm.
So the thing is, earlier, let's say if you wanted to develop an application from scratch, let's say 2 3 years back, and you had a SaaS idea. Uh, so let's say you probably needed 4 to 5 good engineers, and you had to give them 2 3 months of time to develop one application, let's say. So the same application can now be developed with one or two people in a course of few days.
Yes.
So there is actually 100 times increase in developer productivity. that
Mm-hmm.
we've seen. So let's say if you want to create an entire, for example, if you want to create landing page or maybe create an application, so
Mm-hmm.
someone has to design it, someone has to write front end for it, someone has to do the back end, someone has to test it. So there are 4 or 5 roles, and there is a lot of time you waste in terms of planning. So let's
Correct.
say even if you want to design a landing page, there has to be someone who has to think through what has to be written in that landing page for a long time.
Correct.
So as of today, you just give an idea to AI, it will figure out the content, it will figure out the design, it will figure out the backend, everything is done. But at the end of the day, you will have to review the code by AI and you will have to make sure that it is aligning to what you want. As long as you are ensuring that, you can use AI very well. Uh, yeah, so this is how AI is changing this coding space.
So my next question is on that. The yeah, as you rightly said, coding or building applications was a very daunting task, right? So though you
Mhm,
have ideas, you need to have someone to design and then code
mhm,
and then integrate and then deploy. It
mhm.
was it was a very Herculean task, especially
Yeah.
deployment, right? What you build
Mhm.
in the local system, it may not work in the server, right?
True.
So when everything is becoming easier,
Mhm,
right? Super easy now. Like you might be using V0 or
mhm,
what is that? There is Bolt, Lovable, right? With all
mhm.
of these things they're like just like that,
Yeah.
right? So in that context, where do you see the complexity, right? Because
Mhm,
it is an equalizer. Everyone will have
mhm,
the same tools, right? Of
mhm,
course, you talked about, it's AI, you get everything, but you need to think. So what is
mhm.
going to happen in the world because of this, this power, the power of AI,
Mhm,
right? In the
mhm.
development, especially. So how do you see things changing in the upcoming days?
Yeah. So one thing is that so many people think that since AI can do everything right now, so developer jobs will actually go away or something. So I strongly disagree with that part. So because I think if you see, there is a lot of demand for building technical products. So as of today, almost every company wants to, every company, startup, corporate, or anything, they want to build their own websites. They want to build their own services using tech. Earlier, it was unaffordable for people. So let's say 2 3 years back, if you wanted a website to be developed for your company, so you see companies charging around 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs just to get the development done for you,
Right.
right? So that is out of reach of many people. Now the same company can actually get the websites developed and done. So with software development becoming very easy, the demand will also grow multiple times. So people who were earlier not thinking about developing AI products or maybe any technical software products will start thinking about developing that. So the
Hmm.
demand will infinitely grow, in my opinion. So there will always be a need of people who can cater to that development.
Okay. So that's a very good point. I really like that thinking, right? So a lot of people think otherwise, right? They think
Mhm.
that, as you rightly said, people will lose jobs, people will kind of, they won't find any work. But I also think in, how you think, right? When things become easier, more things will be done,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Especially it may not become, like other things like this is different. This is like people will get more power to create,
Mhm.
right? That is one aspect. The other aspect, see, since AI is giving us a lot of power,
Mhm.
right? It is opening up a lot of options for us. Like,
Mhm.
recently you might have heard Satya Nadella said, SaaS is dead,
Mhm. Yeah.
especially with agents,
Mhm.
right? So people are getting power. It is becoming easier. So do you see a phenomenon where people will start creating their own things? right?
Mhm.
Instead of just depending upon, hey, I need to use Salesforce for CRM, I need to use some other thing for some other thing. Now, do you think they ditch all of those things and say, yeah, I have the power to create my own app, right? I
Mhm.
have the power to create my own functionality that
Mhm.
is suitable for my own workflow, right? So,
Mhm.
do you think that is happening?
I think I don't remember the exact company, but I think some company has recently uh, let go of their Salesforce and Slack subscriptions or something by thereby
Hmm.
saving hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay,
So their logic is we will build our own. We will build our own alternatives to that. So if you see like that, and even the way Satya Nadella also mentioned in his thing, so SaaS apps are nothing but an abstraction layer over your databases or maybe some CRUD operations
right.
over some
True.
databases with business logic. So earlier you had to have a company who is maintaining that application, keeping it safe for you, and that was something that individual companies or small companies which were not able to do. So now
Right.
becoming software has become very easy. So uh, most companies will likely develop their own applications. But yeah, so for some critical applications like let's say cybersecurity or something like that, they might still remain with some SaaS companies or something. But slowly a transition is ongoing where people will start developing their own solutions rather than paying hefty sum for some subscriptions.
Good. So, you go to colleges and educate the students?
Uh, Colleges, a few colleges. So like I am a I did few courses for some MBA colleges.
Okay.
We teach AI courses, and more importantly, I actually go to a lot of corporate companies also and train their
Oh,
executives
okay.
about generative AI and how they can move forward with this technology.
Okay. Okay. So, what kind of people they do attend? The technical people or non-tech people or both of them in the corporates generally?
So I'll give this very interesting insight that I had. So at Build Fast with AI, we have our own course that we do on generative
Hmm.
AI, which is
Hmm.
a 6 week long course. So when I first created the course and launched the course, so my primary thought process was that uh, developers who have around let's say 1 to 5 years of experience, some junior developers will probably want to learn AI so that they can get better jobs and upskill. So when
Okay.
I designed this course, when I put it online for the first time, I was primarily expecting this audience. Then I was surprised to see that in our very first cohort, so there was a managing director from BCG who signed up for the course.
Oh.
There
Okay.
was a founder who did that, and CPO of a very large uh, Indian SaaS company has signed up for it.
That's
And in the
interesting.
next few cohorts, in the third, fourth cohort, we had a professor from IIT Bombay join the course.
Wow.
So, this was an eye opener for me because this is such a technology, generative AI is such a technology that knows no bounds.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter if you are in marketing, sales, tech, if you are a founder, if you are a product manager, if you are anything, it doesn't matter. So generative AI has something to offer irrespective of which domain you are in or what kind of experience you have. Even in our cohorts, we see some students, and we also see like some managers with around 25, 30 years of experience. So
Okay.
this is a technology that everyone can use. And in terms of, so this is in terms of the kind of audience that sign up for our courses or maybe the kind of sessions we do. It's a very diverse audience, more diverse than any other course that we ever see.
Yeah,
And
I'm actually wondering.
Mhm.
Right? So that means probably that's because uh, there is a curiosity about generative AI, right?
Yeah.
Because it suddenly opened up so many opportunities, options, right? It started giving powers to the people, right? On the creative side, on the technical side, right? Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
So, um, in the last, based on the timeline that you said, 2 years, right? It's around
Uh,
November,
yeah.
December 2022 to 25 January. right?
Yeah.
In 2 years, the entire world changed,
Yeah.
right? And the change is happening at a very fast pace now,
Yeah.
right? So at this rate, what could happen in the development world, right? In the technical world of AI, right? Probably in the next 6 months. So how do you see it?
So currently, the technology that everyone is bullish on is AI agents. So even I would say that AI agents is something that is going to redefine this year.
Hmm.
Even in our course tagline for this year, we have changed. Next year is going to be very big for AI agents. So
Okay.
the reason is that the agent frameworks have been there for let's say at least 1.5 year. Something like Crew AI, AutoGen by Microsoft, or even other frameworks have been around for at least 1 year now. But the problem was these frameworks were not very effective 1 year back
Hmm.
because the LLM models were not very good at like instruction following, coding, and everything back in the day.
Right.
So, but I would say that a lot of things have changed in the past 4 or 5 months with the release of Claude 3.5 Sonnet model.
Hmm.
Uh, so, which is one of the best LLM models that is available in the world today. So, even if you look at applications like Cursor or maybe Bolt or even Devin for that matter, they all use Claude 3.5 Sonnet in the backend.
Right.
So, we have, like, let's say in the last 3 or 4 months, we have crossed a threshold in terms of how good a model can be or to be able to do agentic workflows.
Right.
So that we have hit in the last 3 or 4 months. So even though the frameworks have been around for 1 year, now since the models and frameworks are also becoming a lot effective, so now we will see in the next last year was more or less an experimentation phase for AI agents, building up the frameworks, connectors, making the models better. Now
Hmm.
we are at a very good stage to make to start using them in the next 6 months or so.
Okay. So that's good. That actually is, kind of making me ask the next question. So what do you think is an agent? How do you
Yeah,
define it?
so yeah, I think this is the question that has been perplexing many people. So
Hmm.
because there is no standard definition of an AI agent, everyone gives you a different example.
Right.
But I can give you the most simplest and probably most widely used definition. So an agent is so whenever you are using ChatGPT or any other LLM directly, you are basically doing an instruction based approach. So
Right.
you ask ChatGPT to do something, it will give you the output. So you ask it to ask it to give a story or code, it will just give it. So chatbots and everything are simple LLMs are instruction based, but AI agents are goal based.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
let's say you can ask an AI agent to go and research about the EV market. So an AI agent will be able to come up with a plan, one
Okay.
thing. So it is able to generate plan and it is also able to use tools. So
Hmm.
let's say inherently LLMs or any other tools don't have access to internet or don't have access to any external APIs. So an AI agent is nothing but an LLM which is powered by tools and it
Hmm.
has a logical thinking as to when to use what tools to get the job done.
Okay. So
So an
that's
AI, yeah.
yeah, that's a wonderful definition, right? So you simplified a lot.
Yeah.
Are you building any agents as of now? Are you using any agentic frameworks?
So I, as a part of our like, since we are someone who teach people about AI agents, so I worked on almost every agent framework that is there, starting
Okay.
from Crew to Phi Data to
Hmm.
AutoGen to everything. So I think in the last 2 3 weeks only we have new agent frameworks also. We have a new framework from Hugging Face. So
Right.
PyDant its own framework. So
Right.
yeah, good number of frameworks that are available.
Okay. Okay. So are you building any use case, like, any specific area of, automation that you're trying to work on?
So primarily, the one thing that we generally use also is for research. So let's say
Hmm.
within our course, we do conduct a lot of daily quizzes and all.
Okay.
So earlier, what we used to do is every day we search internet, we scour through Twitter to get some news. Like we watch some videos, try to write questions one by one. So recently, I think just last week we have built an internal AI news agent.
Oh,
So every day we run that agent and it will go through specific links and it will search for the categories that we want and it will create the question. So those questions will be directly pushed to our database and subsequently our website. So earlier, what used to take at least one person's effort to search the internet, get the relevant
yeah.
news in
That's
the
saved
database
now.
and all, is now done by a single agent because we already give it an instruction. We put an LLM model.
You're right.
It does all the research and it's able to do that. But again, the thing is, AI agents are not perfect as
Hmm.
much as we want to say that
Yeah.
it requires constant tuning, supervision, uh, constant reiteration to make them work very well.
True, true. I mean, so have you built any such kind of guardrails or monitoring or evaluation in your agent? So do you have that step, or is
So
it just automatic?
So currently we try to, so the thing is, before getting into some automated evaluation or something, what I like to do, not just with agents, but with respect to any AI application that we build, is to manually see the data once. As
Okay.
to there are some trends that are clearly visible, and there are some trends that you will have to really search for. So most
Okay.
of the time, whenever the way I tell is building the POC is probably a 1 day job.
Hmm.
And if any company also comes to us to build a product or something, I'll tell this thing. We can build a product for you in 2 days, which
Hmm.
will give you probably 60-70% accuracy. If you want 90% accuracy, it will take 2-3 weeks.
Hmm.
But from but if you want to get from 90 to 95, or maybe if you want to get from 95 to 98, 99, it will take 2 months.
Okay.
So the idea is for any AI system that you're developing POC is the most easy part. But
Hmm.
how you constantly improve accuracy of the models,
It takes time.
guardrailing it efficiently, developing the building and processes is going to take a lot of time.
Right. Good, good. I like that. And when it comes to the large language models, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure you might have worked on all possible models, right? So using the hosted models like OpenAI, Claude, and other things, is Anthropic, right? So have you also tried using your own models, like open source models, and hosted them and started using them?
So we use a lot of open source models also, but primarily at this stage we use APIs of those open source models also. So the thing is, if you want to take an open source model, put it on your own GPU and then host it to a wider audience. So it's actually going to be very costly. So if you don't have large enough user base who is using your product regularly, then it will end up becoming very costlier. So let's say if you want to take a Llama model and host it on a GPU,
Hmm.
so you might probably end up paying $1-2 every hour that it is
Right.
live.
True.
But if you don't have enough volumes of people who are using it regularly, then you are wasting a lot of money there.
Right.
So with most of the products that we are working are at like POC level, at least for a
Okay.
few companies starting. So where we are a lot better off using APIs in the initial stage, and we have also done hosting for a few companies of the open source models and all, but
Okay.
that comes at a lot later stage. So as of today, many companies start directly jumping into fine tuning or maybe renting up big servers without doing a lot of experimentation. So my
Hmm.
idea is just experiment with any model. So as of today, closed source or open source, you can get an API for any model.
Correct.
So try to use them to develop a POC. Once you are satisfied with whatever you have made, once you know that you are going to have enough user demand, then migrate to using your own infrastructure so that you
You're
can
right.
keep cost under control.
Good, good. So Yeah, that makes sense. So was there any requirement from your clients where you had to fine tune, right? So you had to fine tune a model so far, or is it in the process? Right? Because fine tuning is a separate process, right?
Yeah, yeah. So fine tuning, there are few use cases for guardrailing. So there was this edtech company that we have worked for,
Hmm.
and they wanted to give a particular character to their LLMs.
Okay.
So they wanted it to be more empathetic, and they also wanted it to not give answers to any questions directly, but think about step by step.
Okay.
And also, we had to do a lot of guardrailing. So let's say it should answer questions about, let's say, anything. So it should only, sorry, it should answer questions only about education. So let's
Okay.
say GPT or something, if you ask something about kidnapping or something, it will anyways reject it.
Stop.
So
Yeah.
since you're using the same model, so that is not a problem. But there, the client's requirement in our case was that it should not answer anything about entertainment also.
Okay.
So when you ask ChatGPT about a movie, it will probably give you an answer. But to this bot, when you ask a question about movie, it should politely say no and probably nudge them towards learning something.
Okay.
So uh, yeah, so a simpler this implementation can be done using some prompt engineering also. But we decided to fine tune a model where we ended up creating some thousands of synthetic examples,
Okay.
and then
That's
the
good. That's
module.
good.
And yeah, I think even with fine tuning also, the first iteration we got around 60-70% accuracy.
Hmm.
But to get to an iteration where we had 95-98% accuracy, we had to do at least 8 iterations of fine tuning to get there.
Okay. Good. 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 That's interesting. So, you see, there are people who are coming into the industry now, right?
Mhm.
Kids, especially students, engineering students, right? And many other, even MBA students and BCA who would want to get into the industry now, right? As you have seen, the industry itself is changed,
Mhm.
right? So whatever they're learning over 4 years, 3 years, or 6 years, right? So that thing is not there in the industry now.
Mhm.
Probably that
Yes.
is changing, right? The whole processes, right? The way we deal with technology, right? The way we actually build things. So
Mhm.
what do you suggest to them? Right? Should they continue just what they're doing, or should they actually start now, wherever they are, and start looking into
Mhm.
what's happening outside?
So I think by the time, so any student who is studying engineering or otherwise also, so they will enter into a job market where everyone will be using AI, will be talking about AI, will be building products on top of it. So it's the best time, for any student who is watching this, it's the best time to get started learning with generative AI. And I will also share one interesting insight on this. So let's say when I quit my job, let's say around 1.5-2 years back to get into generative AI. So I was primarily working in data science, not a lot of NLP experience, right? So I actually called one of my like batchmates from IIT. So he was doing NLP research for 2-3 years within the college, and then he's currently in Japan. He's working for a big firm there, where he's an NLP researcher.
Hmm.
So then I called him up and I asked him, "Listen, I'm quitting my job to get into generative AI. Can you tell me what I have to do?" So given that guy is working in has researched in NLP for 5 years till that point. So he gives me an answer that shocked me. He said, I asked how to get started with generative AI. He said, "Bhai, mujhe nahi pata."
Oh,
And the reason is he was telling me all this is new for me also.
okay.
Right. So that is when I had a realization that even for someone who is working in, let's say, research space for so many years, so this stuff is pretty new even for them as well.
Right.
So I had this clear idea that, okay, if I start learning generative AI now, I will have a very clear first mover advantage. And even if you look at the technology right now, we are only still at a very nascent stage. So think about this as internet in 1990s or maybe something around that time.
Mm.
So even with generative AI, we are in the very nascent stage of generative AI. So any student, any professional who is learning Gen AI right now will have a significant first mover advantage, because this
Correct.
is a technology unlike Web3 or maybe other things. So this is a technology that will probably stay for very long. So it's only been 2 years. We are at a very beginning of this technology. This will be a technology on which everything else will be built going forward.
Correct.
So one should learn generative AI so that they can build better opportunities for them going forward. Or maybe even if they want to do anything better, this is going to be the way.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point, right? So that makes sense. Because, but still, some people, they're thinking old school, and they
Mhm.
see that, okay, yeah, this may actually go off, right? But I don't think, right? I've been closely observing all these things. See, that's good. So it is changing, and these guys, they need to get onto it. I also have seen a lot of people, they just,
Mhm.
they just watch, right?
Mhm.
So for them, it's like watching videos and reading articles, or watching things on LinkedIn or Twitter. Just watching, in my opinion, is not, right. They got to do something with it,
Mhm.
because knowledge acquisition just by reading, it won't take us anywhere. We may just talk, but when it comes to the practical exercises, it's very hard, right?
Yeah.
So what are the suggestions that you give to these early learners, right, who are just
Mhm.
coming to know about generative AI? Right. So
Mhm.
let's say they have just come to know about it right now, today. Imagine,
Mhm.
right? There is something called a generative AI. There are technical possibilities, there are creative possibilities, right? Everything is changing. So let's talk about actually technical people, people who want to
Mhm.
actually get into the technology, right? So
Mhm.
what kind of advice that you give to them, right? So that they can actually be on top of all of these things always.
So for technical people who are already doing development and all.
Or there are people who want to actually go into technology.
Okay, great. So my simple suggestion is, as you have mentioned, so there are many people who are just seeing things,
Hmm.
right? So they on LinkedIn, Twitter, or any place they go, they see a lot of news related to AI. They study about, okay, new model has come, new framework has come,
Hmm.
or maybe some big CEO said something about AI. So they
Correct.
read all this, but they consume it very passively. So
Yes.
one suggestion that I have for them is, next time you see the news about a new model being released, so try to click on it and try to spend 10 minutes on trying to understand what that exactly means.
Okay.
So instead of so as of today, many people whom I interact with, even founders of AI companies,
Oh.
also they speak about a lot of things without really understanding what they are talking about. So they just say, we do RAG, we do fine tuning, we do this, we do that. So if you look
Hmm.
at what they are telling, it probably does not make a lot of sense, or maybe
Hmm.
you can clearly understand they don't clearly understand what they are talking about. So
Correct.
the idea is that uh, let's say you are already being bombarded by a lot of AI news, AI research that is coming your way on your socials. So the easiest way to get started is, the next time you see an article that you find to be interesting or something, just click on it and try to spend 10 minutes on it.
Hmm.
So try to do this continuously over a period of time, so that you will start building a framework around, okay, this is what a model means. Okay, this
Okay.
is what fine-tuning exactly means. So don't just passively consume news that you are seeing. Just try to spend some time on each of the news article. And if you do that repeatedly over a period of time, so even if you do that once or twice a day, so you would have already spent 3-4 hours in a
Hmm.
month talking about
Yes.
AI.
Yeah.
So then, and once you start spending 3-4 hours, let's say in the first month, so you will be able to absorb a lot more content next, let's say next month. So you will probably
Correct.
absorb 10 worth of content next month. And if you start developing interest, then you can probably explore developing on something by yourself or something like that. So I ask you to go through stages. So the first stage is ignoramus. So where you don't know or don't care about AI. So these are the people that we are not concerned about.
Hmm.
But there are a lot of people who fall in this area where who probably want to learn more about AI, but there is no real need for them. So
Right.
many job roles or something currently don't require AI. They will probably require very soon. So there are a good set of people uh, who might want to know about AI and see a lot about AI, but they are not doing it. There is a third set of people uh, who want to learn AI because their job demands it, and there are fourth set of people who want to build something.
Yes.
So if you are in a stage where you might want to learn and you don't know where to start, just start by like looking at few articles, try to read more about them or something. So once you have a basic idea, try to understand those systems very deeply. Try to understand some very simple applications. As of today, there are many no code tools to develop AI agents.
Right.
So if you want to develop an AI agent or something like that, you can do within 5-10 lines of code. So start with that. And in the last stage, if you are someone who is willing to build an AI business around that, you will have to spend a lot more time, but that will come again.
Right. Very good. So I specifically like the fourth level,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because that's where everyone gets so serious, so busy about what they're doing, right?
Mhm.
Because there is no other option. And I
Mhm.
believe when a person is involved at such a level, right? So they'll discover more things than
Mhm.
people who are just playing with it, right? So for
Mhm.
example, let's say you want to build something out of it and you want to sell what you have built, right?
Mhm.
So that would make you discover things,
Mhm.
right? That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
first level, okay, not required. Second level, okay, out of interest. Third level, yes, because they have to, right?
Mhm.
Fourth level is they discover things. They think, oh, what are all the possibilities, right? A new model is coming up, a new framework is coming up. Can I actually create a solution out of it, right? Can I
Mhm.
can I kind of commercialize it,
Mhm.
right? So that's my next question, right? If
So
we
one point to add to this one is many people who are in level one think about building. So they try to jump levels and
levels,
they
yes,
go nowhere.
yes, yes,
Even someone in level two, they directly start about building. So, but
mm,
again, it's a slow, gradual process which will take few months of time. So, for anyone who is, let's say, from level two or level one, or even level three for that matter, who is wanting to build AI stuff or anything like that, my first suggestion is to be patient and be at it. So you will
absolutely.
not go to level one from level to four in, let's say, just by reading attention is all you need paper. You will not overnight become an AI expert. So it will take
Absolutely.
a lot of time to understand the frameworks, understand the nitty-gritties, and develop that framework. So if you are someone who is learning AI and just getting started, just keep at it and don't be demotivated that you are not understanding a lot of things. So if you have already started making an effort, you are already in the top 5% of the entire people in the world, that
True,
I would say.
true. That's true. Right. So purpose. uh, let's say if someone has a purpose, right? They
Mhm.
want to do something with it, right?
Mhm.
And in my opinion, they do it faster. They do it
Mhm.
better than someone
Mhm.
who is just playing with it,
Mhm.
right? So in that context, so I have this idea, right?
Mhm.
If someone wants to actually learn about all of these things, if we create a purpose for
Mhm.
hey, if you actually make this happen, right? Build
Mhm.
something out of it, not just by building the tools, but also understanding, right?
Mhm.
The business needs and the user needs and all the things that are related, right?
Mhm.
So if we can create that purpose, probably
Mhm.
people will actually follow each and every step, go in a step-by-step
Mhm.
manner, and they finally achieve a final goal.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, you see, uh, Satvik, we all want to become something,
Yeah.
right? So we all want to, survive and thrive,
Mhm.
right? So for that, we do various things and we work for someone and we build our own things, right? So what I see is with all of these technical advancements, it is giving the power to create to the people,
Yeah, true.
right? Which used to take years, probably it is taking days to build.
Mhm.
But the remaining
True.
things, they stay the same. Or
Mhm.
they might have just, accelerated like marketing. Without marketing, you cannot sell,
Mhm.
right? Building is one thing, but you need to take that to a lot of people and start selling, start spreading, scaling,
Mhm.
right? So, what I see from my side is yes, these technical advancements, they are making people more powerful if
Mhm.
someone is really interested in, right? So
Mhm.
it is, kind of accelerating, it is reducing the time to build something and take it to the market.
Mhm.
Okay. So I hope, all the young people, they utilize these opportunities
Mhm.
like how you have jumped from,
Mhm.
a corporate job to this thing, right?
Mhm.
And, how you kind of thought, okay, yeah, this is going to change the world. I need to be in
Mhm.
this change. I need to be
Mhm.
like in the front of this change, the front line
Mhm.
of this change, right? So now you are successful,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, just starting, I don't think by any means, so there is a lot more to achieve.
Yeah, obviously. But you achieved something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
From that first day to whatever you have been doing, like all those
Mhm.
workshops, the trainings, right? You are on your own now.
Yeah.
You are independent, right? And you're enjoying the process.
Yes, surely. Yeah.
So, and I'm sure, this will become an inspirational thing for many youngsters, right? Who
Mhm.
are actually trying to find the purpose in life, right? And they can actually kind of start exploring AI, right?
Mhm.
And kind of start thinking about building solutions. Not just
Mhm.
building, they can find, they can actually solve a lot of
Mhm.
problems,
Yeah.
right? So life is all about, solving problems, right? Business is all about solving problems, right? You solve a problem, somebody will pay you,
Mhm.
right? So this is the mindset that actually we're trying to build in kids.
Mhm.
You are operating for grown-ups and we are kind of, we want to go a little slower. We want to make the next generation ready, right?
Mhm.
We want to slowly start giving this, these updates to the kids, right?
Mhm.
Because it will also affect them in some time, right? So what we're thinking is, yeah, slowly, small things, and we give them some things to play with AI, and then small things to build, right? So that it goes into their mind. Hey, there is something happening out there, right? So that they will not probably face what we faced in the real
Mhm.
world, right? It was a
Yeah.
shock for us, right? When we suddenly came out of the college,
Mhm.
right? What we have been seeing in the college and what we saw outside the college, what is required in the college and what is required outside the college, they are totally different,
Yeah.
right? So I guess that's a wonderful discussion, and I came to know a lot about you, Satvik, right?
Yeah.
And currently you are operating out of Bangalore, right?
Yeah.
I wish you go pan India like a movie star, right?
Mhm.
And maybe other countries also, because you don't
Sure.
have any limits, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I wish activate more and more people to
Yes.
realize their potential with AI, right?
Mhm.
So that they build more beautiful things, right? And I also wish you get lots of clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So from our companies AI and iSchool of AI, right? So we wish all the best in your journey. right? So,
Yeah,
and we'll also see how we can collaborate in
sure,
our
sure.
journey.
So first of all, thank you for everything. So I think this was probably one of my first podcasts like this. So really happy to share all the insights. So really feeling very good after sharing all this. So hope this helps at least few people getting started with the journey or anything. So yeah. So thank you.
So thank you very much. Take care. Bye.